We're out for an adventure at Brownhill Creek. Gonna lap up a few of these trails and test this rear suspension with the Super Deluxe thrushaft versus the Marzocchi Bomber Coil. Deluxe thrushaft with a spacer in there now, just a standard spacer. You don't need the special spacers like they say. I've managed to put a standard spacer in there. It's nipped up, like it's clipped up in there nice and snug. Nothing to worry about, it's not going to come loose. So 163 psi to get me down to the sag that I want. See if it improves the performance of this rear shock. Certainly feels more resistant to compressions, which is good. Wow. And he's making for a quite easy bike to carry momentum on. Let's see how it's like in the bumps. Quite good, really. So firm, stout, a little stout, but not yet to a detriment. Oop, bit off line there. It is, oh, that's grease in there. Woo. Oh, bugger. I was hoping not to get dirty today. We need to redirect some water here. Fix that drainage. Have a listen to me. I'm like a trail builder. So I think I need to... No, I'm not sure actually. I don't know if I need to drop the pressure a bit more. I don't want to go deeper in the sag. Let's button off that compression. See if it just makes it feel... I'm pretty sure it'll just make it feel whack. It's a little lively without the compression. In fact, the shock itself is fairly lively with that extra spacer. A little bit too much chop down the bottom now. Like, but saying that, I think I bottomed it out on that initial crossover, which is a decent G out anyway, so let's have a look. Yeah, she's bottom. So it feels like with the token in there, it's got a shorter window of travel, like it ramps up a little bit quicker, so it keeps you, where you take the hit versus where the bike's at full compression relative to that hit is shorter than what it is with without a token, which makes it feel a little bit more abrupt, but it's certainly made for a fast direct setup for sure, and it wasn't too bad through the choppy bits really. We're now at no token, so standard setup on this through-shaft shock at my preferred setup. 164 psi, mid compression, not really a hard compression there, bottom out, but a little bit less smooth, like it's, oh, big bottom out there. It's more in and out of its travel, but it's more controlled as well. Probably more speed through here, but it certainly doesn't have the same bottom out support. And I wouldn't say I don't think the control's great either. I think that token has some merit, but maybe something to think about. The token has merit, it controls the shock more in and out of the travel, but that's what you should be using your compression to do. So you're controlling more of the travel by shortening the stroke essentially with that, or making the bottom end of the stroke more robust, more resistant to dropping into it with the token. Whereas the compression, and you take the token out, you're making the entire stroke a little more robust, in order to avoid going through travel as much. So I'll put it to the plus, which to me, I should have said, I said that mid is my preferred setup, but it's not. It's the plus, compression in the plus and less PSI again. So 162 gives me the best feeling, but it's a little deeper in the sag and it's a little deader. Yeah, it's definitely not. Oh, that is slippery. I got a little bit of an unexpected slippery. So now I've got the compression in the plus, and it sits on top of things better. It controls the bike better, but it's a little too stout, so I need to go down. Definitely a little too stout, so I need to go down in the pressure a touch to have that as the perfect setup. Maybe we'll go back up and do that again. All right, now we're on my preferred setup, the setup I had before I got this shock replaced, which is no tokens, standard setup with the can, and compression in the plus position. So you got minus, 0 plus, compression in the plus, 162 psi, 4 clicks of rebound. Rebound dial on number 4, being that this is a numbered system. Oh, it feels killer, solid, controlled. Oh, I should have got that outside then, doesn't matter. Maybe not quite as fast, as in speed carrying. Hanging on to it a bit over those bumps. Good compression resistance there. Woo! That might be a flat tyre. I don't know how this tyre's hanging up. I've had so many hard dings, and the rim, this 471, seems to be playing a bit of the part there, I think. I'm gonna go around this slot because it's a bit of a slippery entry there, diving into it. See, with this setup, oh, whoops, I'd almost go like it's too firm in the compression, so I'd have to drop the air pressure a little bit more to suit what's going on, to allow a little bit more free compression to happen. But that's the more composed charging setup I can get out of this rear shock. So now let's go and put the coil on, and we'll do the same run again, same everything, and we'll see if I can make a choice between the two. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like the coil, but we'll see. This, it's hard because there's so many different variables. This shock with less compression and a little higher in the sag creates better performance, but not on this bike. Yes, on this bike, but the ride height that you're given there affects the handling of the bike. So the bump absorption's better, the handling's worse. So you got to bring it back down for better handling and sacrifice a bit of bump absorption or change shocks. So, which is what I'm about to do. Back on the coil, 1 turn of preload, my preferred setup on this so far. 5 clicks of compression, low compression tune. Rebound, I think it's 11 out from closed. Oh, maybe not. I'd have to double check that. But let's see how she feels. Whoa. Yeah, that's good. Should have got that outside again, I missed it. No matter. It just sets you up weird for that little fender. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, the coil's definitely better. Absolutely. More controlled, more calm, and it's got that characteristic that I liked about the air shock with a token in it, where it doesn't go in and out of the travel so easily, but it also doesn't feel sharp and stout, which is certainly welcome. I could go with maybe a little slower on the rebound, just to take a little bit of the edge off. It's just a little choppy still. A little harsh as well. But certainly more control, more composure. It's just not, I don't think the Bomber is an especially good shock, which goes without saying. It's half the price of most shocks, but it's consistent, it feels good, I'm able to find a reasonable tune, and hey guys, and it's my preferred setup on this bike. I think it is close, but in certain parts the air shock kind of shines. Like I think it feels a little more efficient to pump off of things. I think definitely feels a little more efficient to pump off of things, but I think it's Coil. I think the Coil is the way to go. So if you got a track slash, don't be scared. Get yourself a high-end Coil with some adjustment, start tickling, and I reckon you'll be able to find a pretty sweet setup here. So the bike slays. And one thing I didn't mention in my reviews of this bike is the climbing, which completely because I forgot about it, but it's no worries. I can climb this thing all day. It's got just a steep enough seat angle at 75.6 that it's comfortable. Any slacker and it wouldn't be. It'd be a bit more of a struggle. It's efficient, yeah, it feels good. Under sprinting it's not so efficient, but under sprinting it's just relative to how I've got it set up to descend. So she's good, and I think they've done well with that air shock, but not, to me it doesn't stand out, and I'm not sure it outshines a standard Super Deluxe without the through shaft.